Welcome to the Banter Show. And now for your host, Mike Babchick.
Okay, terrific. Just great. Just wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is not what this show normally is, an orgasmic feast of the senses, because I'll tell you, the reason this show is starting so late tonight is the same reason why I had myself an absolutely horrific and horrible Hanukkah season. Because everything came downhill for me. Saturday afternoon, Christmas Eve, around 4-ish p.m. Eastern Time. I'll tell you, there was a wonderful life moment for me on Christmas Eve night where I went to the bridge. I looked up in the heavens. I saw the snow. I was standing there on that good old Mohawk River Bridge, upstate New York, and I considered jumping. And there was no DJ gigging Versace angel that came up to me and said, listen, don't jump. In fact, people said jump. Well, yeah, there was applause to jump. But I had a bad moment, a very, very horrible time, understanding why the Jets lost that game. Now, it was very simple. The Jets lost the game for 3 reasons against the New York Giants on Christmas Eve at home, no less. A home game for the Jets. But there's 3 very specific reasons why they lost that game. Number 1, Mark Sanchez threw the ball 58 times. He had 58 attempts in a football game. Tom Brady shouldn't have 58 attempts. Peyton Manning shouldn't have 58 attempps. Aaron Rodgers shouldn't have 58 attempts. No quarterback besides robo-quarterback should have 58 attempts in a football game. 0. None. There's no offense that should have their quarterback throw the ball 58 times. Nonetheless, the New York Jets should never have a quarterback, that's Mark Sanchez, throw the ball more than 30 times in a game, yet he almost doubled that on Christmas Eve against the New York Giants. Now look, don't blame Rex Ryan for this loss. Rex Ryan, I thought, did the right thing coming out before the game, a week before the game, bringing up the hype, talking the trash, saying he was the number 1 team in town. I thought Rex Ryan actually did the right thing in taking away the attention from the horrific loss the week earlier to Philadelphia in Philadelphia. I mean, nobody talked about that loss because it immediately went to the game of New York, the battle of the city. And Rex Ryan did all he could to have all the attention shift from the horrific loss in Philadelphia to the game against the New York Giants. For that, instead of being bashed, he should be commended. However, the problem with Rex Ryan boasting, sticking his chest out, and running his mouth is the way he acts after horrific losses. And this was a no doubt about it, I mean, kick to the gonads type of a loss. This was a rough one. And Rex Ryan comes out after the loss with his shoulders down, with his head down, and takes 0 accountability. A few days later, he changes his tune. He says it falls it falls on me. It falls on my feet. Well, let me tell you, that should have been the tune right after the game. Instead, he took a shot at Brian Schottenheimer, which we will get to. Instead, he passed the buck a bit. Instead, he didn't say, look, this is on me. I built up this game to epic proportions. I built this game up to be a Super Bowl. And now it falls on me. And I'm the guy who should take the brunt of this. He did not do that. And after losses, Rex Ryan shrinks. And that's the problem. I got no issue with Rex Ryan being a big shot, being a tough guy, being the mouth of the South before the games. Frankly, I think he does more good, so much more good than harm. I mean, talking before a game. When he does it, there's a purpose. And I think the players respond to it. And I think this week leading up to it had every ramification of a good decision because nobody talked about the loss to Philadelphia. Now after this game, he shrunk. He shrunk after the games before previous seasons when he forgot that the Jets were still actually alive in the postseason. He shrunk before the year before that. He shrinks after losing these games, and that's the issue. Rex, if you're going to boast all week long, why don't you be a big guy and a big shot after the game as well and take it. Take it like a man and stand up there and say, this is my fault, and I blew this loss. Nobody else. So don't blame Rex for the loss. But after the game, Rex, come on. Now, there is a guy I mentioned named Brian Schottenheimer. Well, I'm sorry. He needs to be fired today. Now, look, you're going to tell me why fire him, why not fire Rex? He's, the buck stops there. But look, this is the way the NFL works. And the buck doesn't stop there. You got a guy, the offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, who allows his quarterback and calls plays 58 times for his quarterback to throw the ball. That right there is fireable. That's a fireable offense. And once again, the running game looked good early on. And the fact that the Jets put together an opening drive that made sense and worked and led to a touchdown, a productive opening drive, made you think, wow, Jets are going to win this game. Then the Giants had the ball, and then you go, wow, do the Giants really not look like a very good team in the National Football League? I mean, the flaws on the Giants side were so evident in the first half. It was uncanny. And I don't think the Giants played a very good game on Saturday against the New York Jets. They happened to win the game. Victor Cruz did a little dance, did a little jig, ran the ball 100 yards, scored a touchdown, and that was pretty much it. That was pretty much the death blow for the Jets. You knew right then, tide has turned. But Brian Schottenheimer needs to be fired. All right, and now next year, after Schottenheimer gets the axe, then Rex Ryan becomes accountable. Then Rex Ryan, my beloved Rex Ryan. Yes, in fact, he will be on the hot seat next season when that team goes 6-10. And, you could make the argument that the Jets losing to Miami and not making the playoffs might be the best thing for this team. However, that's not going to happen. Now, let's stay on that Giant victory before we move on to this Sunday. The third guy to blame is the guy who threw the ball 58 times. I mean, I'm sorry. There was a point earlier this year when I actually decided to engage in a conversation, engage in a debate about Mark Sanchez versus Eli Manning. I couldn't be any dumber. Mark Sanchez is never going to win a Super Bowl. And if you don't have a quarterback who's never going to win a Super Bowl, you need to move on. Tim Tebow, I'm sorry. He's great and all. And he's got God on his side. And happy birthday, Tim Tebow. I said it to you on December 25th. Happy birthday to you. But you know what? The Broncos are never going to win a Super Bowl, Tim Tebow. The Broncos should move on. And all the teams around the league that have quarterbacks that are just never going to win it. They're never going to get that far because of their struggles and their flaws. And Mark Sanchez put together 2 postseasons that were epic. But it's not enough. He didn't win it then. He's not going to win it now. He'll never win a Super Bowl. The Jets will make the playoffs, I believe. I'll go over the scenarios and why I believe that's so. But like I said, that might be the worst thing for them. Because Mark Sanchez is never going to win in this league. I'm sorry, he won't. And those are the reasons why the Jets lost that game. Now the Giants, let me tell you something. They're not out of the weeds just yet. In fact, I think they're in a world of pain. But you got to give it to them. They won the Battle of New York, the battle that Rex Ryan created. Rex Ryan turned this thing from a little tiny little molehill to a giant mountain. Just like he always does. The problem is this time around, his team didn't back him up. And that's the issue. And you have to hold some people accountable. And it's not Rex Ryan just yet. The guy went to 2 straight AFC Championship games. Enough of that. He's not going anywhere. But when you get rid of Brian Schottenheimer, Rex Ryan's going to look around the room. He's going to look around his foxhole. And he's going to realize, oh, man, I just lost the one guy I can blame. And maybe then, things will start to change with the New York Jets. So we have a lot of stuff to get to, but I start with this. 1, credit. And this is going to blow you guys away. Credit to the New York Giants. Credit to Eli Manning. And the way, you're right, laugh track is well-deserved. Credit. I don't like to give credit. I'm one of these radio talk show hosts that like to bash everybody, talk about how good I am, give myself credit. It's all about me. Well, you know what? I'm going to give credit to the New York Giants and Eli Manning. I mean, he said it. He got into a lot of trouble earlier in the season, before the season even began, with the Michael K. show. When he went on that very interesting channel, which I'm shocked that guy still has a radio program, but I digress. He went on that show, and he said, hey, listen, I'm an elite QB in this league. And he got hammered for it. Like, how could you call yourself elite? He said, yeah, I'm in the top 5, and he got hammered for it. Well, guess what? And this pains me. Eli Manning is now, after last Sunday's performance, not before, I might put him in the top 5. If I had to rank the QBs right now, I'm going to hold on to the keyword might. But he is right there on the cusp of being in the handful of the great quarterbacks in this league. He has stepped out of Peyton Manning's shadow like you cannot believe. Peyton Manning is out. Eli Manning is the only Manning playing right now, and he's playing just as good as his brother, if not better, because he's doing things in the fourth quarter I've never seen Peyton Manning do. I said it before. I'd rather Eli Manning, if I'm a Giant fan, have the ball than Peyton Manning. If I was a Giant fan, I would rather Eli Manning have the ball, close a game, than Peyton Manning. If I had a choice between those two guys, crunch time, down in the game, 2 minutes to go, fourth quarter, I would choose, believe it or not, Eli Manning over Peyton Manning. And if you look at the history, you can't deny it. Eli is not the same Eli I know and love, the guy who, the all-shot. Listen, he's still one of the biggest dorks out there. That I bash, I know. Well, I know I love to bash him. He still is a raging dork. I mean, don't tell me he's a cool guy, and don't tell me he's a leader in the locker room, and don't tell me he's a leader in that huddle. I will never buy that. I mean, a guy like that cannot be a leader. Come on now, guys. Let's go out there and do a little dips-a-do. Come on now. But let me tell you, the performance that he's put together this year has been incredible. DJ Versace will be here all night long, 6 to 8 p.m. Man Banter Radio. But first, the phone call, 646-797-31. Oh, I like that, Lou. He fixed it out. 797-3106. What's your name, where you're from? You're on Man Banter Radio. How much you bench?
Bench 220. I'm from Clinton, Ohio, and my name is Frankie D, and I'm here to gloat. I'm here to gloat.
Good.
I am here to gloat. I'd like to know the name of the sports analyst who picked the Jets to win the Super Bowl. Do you have any idea of his name?
That sports analyst, I believe, is Mike Babcock.
Matt Babycock.
Oh, the sports analyst. I love it. Listen, Frankie D. All right, here we go. Okay, listen, here we go. You were correct, sir. I was wrong, sir. What more do you want from me?
For you to fulfill your bet.
Well, if I bend over, drop my pants, will you kiss my ass?
Only if you have your boil lanced. If you have your boil lanced, I will then kiss your ass, but not before that boil. That boil is hideous. I think it winked at me last time. Look, Frankie D, the Giants are a flawed team, too. Don't get all up and high and mighty, because your Giants are in for an epic fall when they take on the Dallas Cowboys in the Meadowlands on Sunday night, and I'll tell you what, the Dallas Cowboys will win that game. If they don't win that game, then I will go and kiss your ass.
DJ Versace, you hear him? He's the same guy that said the Jets were going to kill New England. Let's talk about Rob Reiner a little. Just a little Rob Reiner comments. When you listen to Victor Cruz and they asked him what motivated the Giants, he said Rob Reiner.
Right.
He said Rob Reiner's comments got them to have the best practice they ever had.
Right.
Tom Coughlin also said the best practice they ever had. And why? Because Rob Reiner motivates the other team. He gets the other team to work hard. The coach wants to push the guys. He can't. But who does it for him? Rob Reiner.
All right, let me tell you.
Will you say that's true?
Listen, here's the problem. You're clearly just exposed yourself. I mean, obviously you weren't an athlete.
I've done that before.
Listen to me. You've exposed yourself. Yes, you've exposed it this time legally. But last time you did it was illegal.
Frankie D?
Yeah, Frankie D exposed himself at the playground once. Not good. Not good at all. But let me tell you.
Not good. Not good.
Not good. Now, I was an athlete. You know that from the size of me. I was an athlete.
I
played in
you
those
were an
locker rooms.
athletic supporter.
Have you ever heard of Allen Iverson? Have you ever heard
sure.
of You're talking about practice. That's what you brought to me on the first call before the new year. You're talking about practice. You know, I get plenty of practice in my home looking at my favorite websites. But guess what? When the girl comes around, it never really translates from what I do in practice. You're talking about practice. I don't care about their practices. You can't convince me. You'll never, ever convince me. Anything, locker room material, anything that happens, trash talk before the week, ever computes on an NFL Sunday, or in this case, an NFL Saturday. You are wrong.
Mike, I respected your intelligence. I did. I
Thank
really did. And now look what you've done.
I've accepted
You don't think
Past
when a
tense.
team works hard and they all push together and they all build up a certain amount of
Wrong.
hate that they fight with more fury? And who's the man that could bring it on for the Giants? Who helped that Giants to that pitch, to
Wrong.
that fever? It was Rob Reiner.
When
And
the
let me
whistle
tell you
hits,
this. You've got to say Rob Reiner is shutting his mouth. He's not bad-mouthing Miami this week.
Well,
He's not
listen,
pulling that again
you just
because
heard
he
me.
knows it's true.
You just heard me, if you just listened to me, heard me say, listen, Rex Ryan, I had no issue with him talking trash
Herpes.
throughout the week. I had no issue with it because all we talked about was the Giant game. Nobody mentioned.
I'm disagreeing
Nobody.
with you.
Well,
I'm
let me tell
saying
you something.
His doing it
Okay.
motivated the
Fine.
Giants.
Listen
It
to what
got
I'm saying
them
to
to
you.
work harder, to
Fine.
practice harder,
Good.
to beat the
Great.
Jets.
Harder.
And they came
Wonderful.
out with a fury.
Excellent. Excellent. You know what, though? The way Rex Ryan handled himself after the game, that was the problem. The fact that Rex Ryan didn't come up there and said, you know what? Yeah, we lost that game. I take full accountability, but I don't care. We're going to beat the Miami Dolphins. Hopefully the other teams lose, and we will make the playoffs. He
Well,
should
it's
be
about
talking
time
like
he started
that.
caring what he's doing. He started caring. The Jets and Mark Sanchez are good enough team to make the playoffs.
All right, here's the problem.
And what killed them is one of the things that killed them is Rob Reiner.
Here's the
Number
problem.
one, he doesn't have as good a team this year
Sure.
as he had last year.
Okay.
He traded away the wrong guys. He didn't renew contract to the guys he should have kept. And he gets no blame. He
That's
gets
not
no
true.
blame because Rex Riner,
Not true.
I can't even get that guy's name out, just has you mesmerized.
Here's your problem. Here's your problem with your logic. Frankie D logic. I mean, look, it's not hard to break down. It's like when I go out to the playgrounds where Frankie D exposes himself and I beat the kid in blocks. You know why I beat him? Because I invent the game. Here's the question,
you can't beat
Frankie
anybody
D.
else?
If you're telling me the logic before the game was that the Giants were all hyped up because of Rex Ryan's words, and they listened to Rex Ryan, and they heard those words, and they said, you know what? I'm so motivated, I'm going to beat the Jets. Well, then you tell me. You've always told me that the Jets never cared about Rex Ryan, that Rex Ryan pumping them up on their sideline on their behalf never worked. But you're telling me now it works for the Giants? You can't have it both ways.
I think
You
he
can't
should
have it
spend
both
time
ways.
motivating his own team.
You can't
What
have it both
he does
ways.
is motivate the other team as well, and that's a mistake. That's a mistake. By the way, I think Rex Ryan's a great coach. I love having him
Frankie
around.
needs
I
to
love
check
his
his blood
honesty.
pressure.
I love the way he talks. I love his spirit.
Right.
But by motivating the other team, he should do things that motivate his own team without getting the other team
You
to
love him
work
so
harder.
much. You
And
love
that's
him so
something
much.
that's obvious, and I know you see if you stop and look.
All right, you love him so much you
Now
bash
then.
him every week. I mean, come on now.
I'm not. I'm bashing his big mouth, motivating the other team. Coaches work so hard to get these men in practice to work, to come together. And who does it?
Come together.
For the first time ever, look what Jacobs did. He went over to Ryan and he says, now you shut your big mouth. Now, he's not done that to any coach in the 3 years he's been with the Giants, ever. He's not done anything, but the fury that Rex Ryan brings this out in people, in the other team. Why motivate the other team? It doesn't make sense.
Oh, here's the thing. The motivation factor, you're completely wrong. It's
Come
so
on, Barry.
overrated. Now, let's talk about your Giant team. And let's talk about what Tom Coughlin has done where, you're right, he gets them up for some games, but never
But he gets help from
consistently.
Rex Ryan.
What's he going to do this week? All right, if nobody's talking trash, if Rob Ryan's not saying anything, are you telling me they're going to lose this
You
game?
calling him Rob Reiner?
Are you Rob
think
Ryan's
you
on the
should say Rob
Cowboys?
Reiner.
Are you telling me they're not going to win the game because Rex Ryan hasn't opened his mouth? Because you're giving
I
all the
think-
credit for the win to Rex.
Mike, I think you're the best, but I think that you take
Here
a
we go
look at
again.
other coaches, unless you think coaches are fools.
Yeah.
They always try
Okay, so I guess the
not
Giants are
to
screwed.
give motivational things to
Okay.
the other team.
So I guess the
and
Giants-
Reiner should
All right.
motivate his own
Okay.
team without motivating the other team.
So I
That's
guess
my
the
whole
Giants.
point.
I guess the Giants are screwed then this week, huh? Because nobody called them
No,
out.
they're not screwed.
No,
They
what
can
do
still
you
win. I
mean?
still think they're going to win.
No,
but
Goff,
I'm a
where's
homie
gonna
with
get
the
the
Giants.
motivation?
I love the Giants like you love the Jets. So I don't see things as clearly.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it immensely.
What do you mean
to
I don't
them
see
beat
things
the Jets,
clearly?
To see them
What?
beat that big mouth.
What do you mean I don't see things clearly? Now, DJ Versace, he doesn't see things clearly because when I came to pick him up today, I opened the door and a puff of smoke came out. So now, he doesn't see things clearly, but what do you mean I don't see things? Listen, here's what's going to happen this weekend, Frankie D. Listen to this. The Giants.
I'm listening, baby. I'm listening.
Because nobody calls out the Giants, so they apparently won't be motivated. They don't understand it's a big game on their own.
They
They
won't
need
be
Rex
as
Ryan.
motivated.
Right? No.
He gets them
That's what
up.
you just said. That's your point. So, okay, so the Giants will lose this game to the Dallas Cowboys at home. Let me tell you about the Jets. The
I
Jets
didn't say
will.
that. I said that I feel the Giants are going to win.
Okay.
I feel they're going to win.
Right.
But the coach
They
tries
won't.
to motivate his own team.
They won't. You know why?
Rex
Because
Reiner helps it along. The Giants I still think are going to beat Dallas.
all right, you know why they're not going to win the
I think
game?
they're going to beat them bad, too.
Okay, you know why they don't win the game? Because you can't figure out Tom Coughlin and the New York Giants. Don't even try. Because that team makes less sense than any team I've ever seen over the last 3-4 years. I mean, the way they've closed out seasons has been embarrassing. And the fact that Coughlin has his job is because the Giants ownership are a bunch of, what's the word I'm looking for? Pussyfoots? They're a bunch of pussyfoots.
Sissies.
They're a bunch of little lily flowers. I mean, really, they're so gentle with their head coaches. So Tom Coughlin, they don't make any sense. So if I'm going to look at this game and say, well, let's look at the way the Giants ended the last few seasons and the way this Giant team doesn't get up for the biggest games of the year, I'm going to tell you the Cowboys win the game. Let me talk about the New York Jets. The New York Jets are going to win this game in Miami. They're going to absolutely blow them out. And here's what's going to happen to allow the New York Jets. And if you just heard the monologue, I think it might be a bad thing for the Jets to make the playoffs because it might give even more credence and license for Brian
I think they're
Schottenheimer.
going to have a good thing happen for the Jets.
Well,
They're
here's
not
what's
gonna
going to
make
happen.
the
Here's what's
playoffs.
going to happen. If they make the playoffs, Brian Schottenheimer keeps his job, and I don't know if that's a good thing. But if they don't make the playoffs, he will be fired. The Jets will win the game on Sunday. The Houston Texans, who are now headed to have a 3-game losing streak, who do not want to enter the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak. They will beat the Tennessee Titans because they don't want to face them in the playoffs. And the Titans could very well be that 6th seed. So the Houston Texans figure out a way to win a game. So that eliminates them. The Cincinnati Bengals will take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens fighting for positioning. They want a bye week. You think they're going to roll over and lose that week? Forget about it. Bye week. That's like a week to take off. Gimp. Not like, your girlfriend's going by and whatnot. Or like, you. All right, so they're the bye week. So Baltimore Ravens, you think they're going to roll over?
Bye week last week.
Yeah. They got another thing coming. The Ravens will beat the Cincinnati Bengals at home against those pathetic fans. Goodbye to the Bengals. Now we go to the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders will win the game on Sunday. No doubt about it. They'll win the game. They're playing at home. They are the favorite, I believe. Let me just check this out here. Yep. They're favored by 3 of the Chargers. They win that game.
I'm your girl's favorite.
Now, here's the thing you're asking. Yeah, that's not good. The Denver Broncos, they're the team with Timmy Tebow, whose birthday was December 25th, who we all hail Tim Tebow. All convert to Tebowism. Just like Mark Sanchez.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Let me preach on this. Just like Mark Sanchez will never go to a Super Bowl. Neither will Tim Tebow. The Denver Broncos will lose. And John Elway will look like a fool for letting go of Kyle Orton in favor of Tim Tebow, just releasing him instead of holding on to him for the rest of the year. He signs with the Kansas City Chiefs. Kyle Orton, the neckbeard, gets his revenge. The Broncos lose. The Raiders win the West. The Jets make the playoffs. Frankie D, thanks so much.
Okay, buddy. Always great.
All right,
Take care.
See ya. All right, but listen, here's the difference, though. You probably want him to take Santonio Holmes and cut him. I want him to go 2 weeks ago, and when he noticed this problem with Santonio Holmes, you know what I wanted him to do? Fire Brian Schottenheimer. See, there's the difference. You'd probably fire the talent that's pissing you off. I don't. I'm willing to work with these diva wide receivers. I'm willing to put in the time and figure out, listen, I get it. You're a selfish millionaire athlete. I'm okay with that. Let's figure out how to make it work for you. It's about you.
Well, then who do you think the OC should be for the Jets?
Well, look, first you got to get rid of this one. How is Brian Schottenheimer not fired yet? It's ridiculous.
Schottenheimer's going, I guarantee it. Frankie D is telling you Brian Schottenheimer is gone.
Right.
And when I say it, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just like when I said the Packers would be there and New England would be there.
You picked the top
Do you
two
remember
seeds in
that?
the league. I mean, come on, Captain Obvious. You make it sound like you did anything special. You picked 1-1. I mean, wow.
At that point, everybody was saying the Jets. I remember this talk show host saying the Jets. Right?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The Jets are the best.
Oh, please.
But Frankie D knows what's happening. He listens. He hears.
Yeah. Well, if you listen to national, in national news and the national landscape, everybody was picking Pats and Packers. Not like it's a big deal. Of course, in New York, you got some crazies to pick the Jets go Super Bowl. I was not one of them.
Bullshit.
Yes,
I didn't pick the. I did?
Yes, you
Yes,
were.
you
You
did.
said the Jets would
Okay,
beat
fine.
up on the Pats.
I'll tell you
The
what.
Jets,
You know what?
both times you picked the Jets.
You guys are wrong. We're
Because they had Rob Reiner.
Okay, listen, you guys are
the
wrong.
videotape.
Lou has the tape right now, the audio, and hold on, Lou, he's going to play it for it. Here we go. This
Okay,
is
play it
just
for me,
listen.
Lou. Let me
This
hear
is
that
from
tape.
September 1st. Here we go.
All right, guys. This is September 1st, Man Banter Radio. Listen, I'm really nervous. One of my first shows, but let me make some predictions here. The New York Jets will go 8-8. They won't make the playoffs. They will absolutely crash and burn. It will happen, trust me. And the New York Giants, I actually think that they can actually win this division. They'll probably win it in the last week of the year. And my Super Bowl prediction is the Packers and Pats in the Super Bowl. Calls now 646-797-31.
Okay, cut it, Lou. Cut it. All right, there you have it.
That
So,
was
all right,